do we look enough internally to develop those that are in our organisations to help them fill the gap?
In our talent management process, we've got what we identify as 4 key dilemmas about our approach. And one of them is around buy versus build talent. And historically, I would say my organisation has looked predominantly at building talent. So we're recruiting as college graduates with an intern pipeline as well, to then build their skills internally within the organisation, expose them to different departments as well, and potentially build careers. What we have shifted though is we've shifted a little bit over to include some buying in of talent, because you can't necessarily build sometimes at the pace to address the problem that you have today. And you might need some catalysts within the organisation, some key talent that you bring in that actually drives your organisation's development faster. We've done it in places such as user experience, UX, because it was something that, whilst lots of people pat themselves on the back and say that they appreciate it and that they're good at it, there is actually a skill and there is a particular focus that can be brought by talented individuals in that space. So I think it's about finding the balance. I would still love to build as much talent as I can within the organisation, but I'd say it's probably now in the 90-10 mix of build versus buy, and maybe even shift to the 80-20 space, but possibly not much more than that for what we're looking at.
Okay. What's your perspective on that, Sarah, in being in the recruitment area?
In the recruitment area, well, I think, I mean, this is such a big question, and organisations face it in so many different ways. I think what strikes me, sort of coming to the sort of merging the talent management with the future skills gap, what strikes me in an entrepreneurial business, if you were to start up a company, you would start with a strategy, and you would start with your product and your proposition. And then you would build out your people, you know, your structure, process, people. And what strikes me in our global organisations is that there seems to be a bit of a disconnect between ultimately the business strategy and then what the people requirements. And I don't know where this disconnect happens, but whether it happens at the boardroom a table or whether it happens lower down, but there is a disconnect between actually, and that's how you work out where your future skills gaps need to be, is understanding what's our 5-year strategy and then working and filtering that down. So that's one comment on the kind of the gap and how organisations. I think that there's a need to link the business strategy with people strategy, with IT strategy. And then my second sort of thought is around the build versus buy piece. What we see is it's a lot easier to go to market and buy, but actually if you take a look at how much it's cost you to buy, nurture, invest in and build, it's a lot. Not a lot of organisations really properly understand that the value of the sort of, how do we want to package this? The kind of economic value of the investment that they've made, and so therefore it's a very easy, quick thing to do to go out to market and get that talent in. And we recently did a survey in technology, and we found that. Particularly actually for women, 52% of women were really interested in upskilling to a different type of skill set or retraining. So you have a latent population of women and men in your organisation that are actually really open to invest in themselves and be invested in new skills. So I guess I would challenge organisations to really properly understand, actually have those conversations. Are they embedded in their talent management process? Are they embedded in your everyday kind of performance management processes? To have conversations around, well, let's think laterally. I give you permission to think laterally about, are you open to jumping into something completely new?
Yeah, I think the one thing I would add, listening to that as well, is the build versus buy scenario. In many cases where people are trying to buy in talent, they're looking for the quick fix, and actually the economic value, they don't consider even things, the softer side of things, which like cultural fit. And often we're seeing very senior roles coming into organisations. Like the expectation on these people is huge to turn around. Wow, we're going to generate new products and services or new customer experiences. We're going to become a digital online business. Those sorts of expectations are massive on these people, and culturally they don't always align. So very soft. How do you really ascertain the impact that these people are going to have? On the flip side, we're not doing enough to educate internally. We talked earlier about being in a position where we can continually disrupt our own business models. Bringing in new products that satisfy an ever-demanding customer base. Ever-demanding experiences. People are buying brands, not necessarily specific services now. They get very attached to an experience. This stuff is happening throughout most industries now, and so we have to build the capability holistically to continue to disrupt and learn and grow. And I don't think we can rely so much on the quick fix, bring in a new director, they'll solve it all type problem. So there definitely has to be a balance struck there.